And now, live in studio, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. He's a successful entrepreneur, published author, top listing agent, a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes.
Yes, here we are again another day, committed to being your consumer advocate, all about helping you win here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. That is our goal, and we are going to educate, entertain, enlighten. Most importantly, we want to engage so we can help you win.
The only thing I'm addicted to right now is winning.
As always, save our hotline number. We'd love to connect with you. It's an off-air number, 813-670-7372. Call or text 813-670-7372.
You used to call me on my cell phone.
ConsumerQB.com. That's where you can find all of our expert contributors, all the best in Tampa Bay, in the Gulf Coast region of Tampa Bay here, the Gulf Coast region of Florida, that we've assembled and we've vetted to help you win in any marketplace. I want to thank one of our sponsors here and urge you to reach out to this young lady. She does a great job. It's another example of a small business here in Tampa Bay. Jade's Premium Quality Cleaning is the official cleaning partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show. Jade, it's a family-run business. She works it with her daughters. Jade's Premium Quality Cleaning. Now, they've also went the extra mile and got COVID-19 certified. So it's also certified for infection prevention and control. So follow her on Facebook at Jade's Premium Quality Cleaning. You can reach out to them directly as well, jadespremiumqualitycleaning.com, or just reach out to the show hotline, text cleaning, or call 813-670-7372. And she's offering $15 off the first cleaning to the first 3 listeners who reach out, 813-670-7372. And let's jump into our show in studio. We got my friend Manny Febre in the house. Welcome back.
What's up, Brandon?
How we doing, man?
Man, always good to be here, man, and always good to ride that jet ski on Tarpon Lake out there.
That's right. Yeah, absolutely. So we're doing some Febre. We're going to talk about Febre frameworks, talk about the real estate industry as a whole, talk a little bit about marketing, and what else you want to dive into?
Yeah, I'm going to talk a little bit more about the 3D mapping that we're doing, teaming up with civil engineers, along with helping out with their quantities to get really good quantities as far as double checking their stockpile materials to make sure they're actually getting the exact amount that they're actually using per week, every hour per day, so that they save money. And not only this, in turn, it's going to help save the DOT lots of money. Everybody loves to save money.
Cool. All right. Good stuff. I like that. And we have Diane Vance as well, Fairway Independent Mortgage, on the phone calling in with our mortgage update.
Hey, Brandon, how are you today?
I'm wonderful.
Yes, I'm going to talk a little bit about 30-year versus 15-year fixed mortgages today.
Yeah, that's a great topic, because if some people right now, especially taking advantage of that reduced rate, the lower rates that we have, and they are at 40, 50, 60-year lows right now, and we're not talking about certain APR here, so the mortgage police won't bother us, but people can save a tremendous amount of money by condensing payments and maybe sacrificing a little bit of their discretionary spending. And you look at the numbers, it's going to be amazing numbers here.
Correct. Yep. And I'm going to go over that.
Perfect. All right. Well, let's jump right into it. So we got Diane Vance here, Consumer Quarterback Show, our expert contributors. We always talk about supporting the local economy. As I just mentioned, Manny Febre Frameworks, local company. Jade's Premium Quality Cleaning, local company. Diane is based here in Tampa Bay as well, local lender. So you're definitely supporting the local economy. And 860, The Answer, our Salem media family right here, by supporting Diane and her team. So let's dive into it. The word amortization, in the Latin, means to die slow. It's interesting, isn't it? Amortization. So tell us how we can maybe get out of debt faster, pay off these mortgages.
Die slow.
Yes, exactly.
So I'm going to talk about a little bit about, so I'm not going to go into APRs. What I did was I kind of took the same interest rate, even though 15-year fixed rates are lower than 30-year fixed, but they're very close to one another. So I kind of, so that I'm fair today, I'm just going to take what the interest rate is on 30-year and 15-year fixed and just use that on $100,000. So basically over a 30-year period, you're going to spend interest of $66,720. So for the 15-year fix, your interest is $31,054. So what happens, of course, is that just equates to, your principal that is paid over time, and the payment difference it's probably $200 maybe a month. So you save a lot of money. But now, not 15-year fix is not for everybody. So I've had it both ways, Brandon. I mean, I have people that they want to do, get out of debt quickly. And that's a great idea because you do pay a lot of interest. But then I've had people that have actually refinanced. So when they start out, they may think, oh, I want to pay it off quickly. But then they have a couple children, they have daycare, they have all those things. So they come back to me and say, you know what? I think I want to do a 30-year because it's not a have-to situation.
Right.
And they still can accomplish the same thing by paying it off in 15 years because anything you pay over and above your principal balance or your mortgage payment goes to the principal and goes to the principal balance. So you still can accomplish the same thing even if you're on the phone or you're listening to the radio and you have a 30-year fix and your interest rate is low and you've just refinanced. You can still do the same thing. All you do is just figure out, you can go online and look at any amortization schedule, and it will show you. You just put in 15 years. It will tell you how much you can pay monthly, or even if you pay an extra one payment per year, it will knock it down about 7 years. So anything you can pay towards that mortgage is going to save you interest in the end. So as you can see, there's a big difference in the two. Now the payment, so if you're, depending on your situation, we have people doing both. So it's about $260 difference a month in the 15 and 30-year fixed, right around there. So the 15-year fix would be $260, which is going out to eat probably twice a month. So you can actually accomplish, no matter if you have a 30-year mortgage now or if you've paid it down 5 years or if it's whatever it is, you can accomplish a lower
net
principal net effect. Yes. Yeah. So you can actually accomplish the same thing by doing that.
Yeah, absolutely. We're talking with Diane Vance here, Fairway Independent Mortgage, longtime friend of the program, local lender. And when you look at the decision, you can make that extra payment. Some people are disciplined enough to do it. Some people may not be.
Yeah.
So you're not committed to that 15-year payment. But here's another question that comes up sometimes. And we had a tremendous amount of callers reach out last time we had William Crowley, the credit magician, on the show. I think we had about 8 or 12 people reach out for that.
Yes.
Credit improvement. So one of these things that you see out there, and a lot of the commercials, folks on TV, radio, they're screaming about debt consolidation, the unsecured debt consolidation. I'm not talking about a refinance loan here, but
Correct.
Those credit consumer counseling situations as well. Those are you have to be very cautious the way if you were to ever engage with one of those. Diana, have you seen that on the credit before?
Yes, I have seen. I'm amazed. That's why I like working with William, because William's very honest and he tells you exactly how it is. I've had some customers, they do things like they'll put an account in dispute, which comes right back, after a few months. So it doesn't really help them sometimes. And they have to pay so much per month, like $89 per month or something like that. Whereas if you go to William, he's going to tell you exactly what you need to do. You're going to do it, and then it's going to help you fix the credit. But there's a lot of credit repair companies out there. And I've seen some that do and don't help, but there's probably more that, that doesn't always help them. Or it seems they should help them, but I don't know whether it's the customer doesn't do what they say, but typically they do. And I know William actually is very good about being very direct and letting them know exactly how they can do what they need to do to improve the credit.
Yeah, what I've found with those debt consolidation companies, what they do is they actually just renegotiate with the debtor. They extend out the payment, so now you get a lower payment. So it sounds good to the client, the individual that's in that position, but it's stretching that out over a longer period of time. So ultimately, you're paying a lot more in interest that way.
Correct. Yes, and also depending on, sometimes it'll show up in the credit report that way. So sometimes depending on who they go through, it may show up differently in the credit report. For instance, if it's a national credit type situation, it'll show up that it's in a payment plan or something like that.
Right.
So you just really need to talk to an expert and make sure that what you're wanting to do, if your goal, so it all depends on each person's goal. So if their goal is to, save interest or have a lower payment, so it depends on what their goal is. So if their goal is something that they want to pay off debt, and I'm all for that, pay off debt in a certain period of time, then they want to be really, really careful because they don't want to end up paying more interest over, if you take a payment of $5,000, you take it over 60 months, versus 10 years, it may sound better, but guess what? You're paying more interest for that 10 years versus a 5-year.
Yeah.
So those type of things, you really want to evaluate it. So it depends on your individual situation. What are your long-term goals? And you really have to think about, I tell people all the time, in today's market, interest rates are so low, you should be able to put your money into, investments and definitely always earn more money. So
yeah.
you definitely should be able to earn, more money than what your interest rate is, or higher interest rate, or a higher return. So, take that difference and do something with it. So if you're investing in it and you earn $100 a month, take that and maybe pay off that credit card or pay off whatever it is, so that you can actually get to your long-term goal. So if your goal is to, a lot of people, so everybody has different goals.
Right.
So it depends long-term what their goals are.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Diane, we'll talk more if you can hang out with us. We're going to come
Sure.
back into another segment, and I want to ask you more. I want to beat that drum on the renters right now, because there's so many people that I hear renting, and it's just it's great if it's a short-term plan or it's a seasonal thing, and you live out of state. But right now, I want to talk about the rent versus own when we come back, and talk about that, and then we're going to bring Manny Febre into the conversation as well. Febre Frameworks and real estate marketing a little bit here. We're going to talk about that. Plus, we have a feel-good story of the day coming at you from the NFL quarterback. Trubisky sends heartfelt letter and jersey to grieving family. Stay with us right here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
Thanks for listening to my daddy's show. For more information, go to consumerqb.com.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com. You're listening to the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
All right. We're back. Brandon Rhymes here, Consumer Quarterback Show. This segment's brought to you by Brothers Easy Moving, the official moving partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show, Brothers Easy Moving. And I can tell you it's a very smooth process with them. I'm bringing on a new listing in Dunedin, waterfront, beautiful townhome in the $600,000 range. And I had a call in to Gary, the owner, and he said, call Mark. I called Mark, did a virtual walkthrough with the client. I'm standing there with a FaceTime call, and you can do it through the Facebook Messenger app as well. Did a virtual walkthrough, showed them all the different things that we want to pack up and move. And they're also moving a lot of this stuff out of state as well. So Brothers Easy Moving, the official moving partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show. They do a great job. Just give them a call. Let them know the real estate quarterback sent you. Brothers Easy Moving, the official moving partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show. All right, we got 520 George Street South. This is a waterfront property in Tarpon Springs. Beautiful property right on Lake Tarpon. Wide open water views. You got a mother-in-law suite, private dock as well, priced below $500,000. This property is around $450,000 asking price at 520 George Street South. Waterfront beauty in Tarpon Springs. Make it yours today. Also, another waterfront property, 6417 Yvette Drive in Hudson. Waterfront on a deep water canal, access out into the Gulf of Mexico. Beautiful photography there. Compliments of Febre Frameworks as well. Look at that dock on the waterfront. You got bring your boat, bring your jet skis, 2-bedroom, 2-bath property. Direct access out into the bay. Check out all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com. That's platinummvpteam.kw.com. All right, we got Manny Febre in studio, Febre Frameworks. We're going to talk more about real estate photography, his business, and marketing in real estate. I want to go back to Diane. I want to really talk about, for this segment, a little bit about renters right now. Diane, what are you seeing on the side of, again, the overall premise of this show, we're talking about wealth, building wealth, and getting out of debt. When you think about renting, what are you seeing out there, Diane?
Well, we have a lot of first-time home buyers that are buying because interest rates are very low, and they have been renting. And every time I listen to rent, I'm like, oh my goodness, you could so buy a house. So I did a comparison a while ago. Matter of fact, I think for this show, and the rent was $1,250 for like $175,000. Interest rates are actually lower than what I did it on at this time, so that means that you could actually purchase a home even higher than this or more than this. So if just with that, you can add your payment, principal and interest approximately, because depending on taxes, insurance, your credit score, all those good things, your principal and interest, if you're paying $1,250, you can get right around $175,000 purchase. You can put 3.5% down with FHA, or 5% down with 30-year just conventional loan, again, and 3% down. But I use the 5% down. So your payment is going to be right around almost at $1,200. So if you're paying $1,250, you're actually paying somebody else's. You're building their wealth. We talked about that before.
Yep.
So the actual rent versus principal paid in 60 months. So you actually get equity in 5 years on a mortgage. You would get principal of approximately $15,000. A little over $15,000 up to $16,000 depending on the program. So if you end up with that's just the principal, but if you pay rent, you're going to be paying over that 5 years, you're going to be paying, how much for $1,250 a month for somebody else, you're going to be paying, $1,250 times 60 months. You're going to be paying about $75,000 in rent.
Wow.
So you are actually just throwing money away. If we're talking about saving money and building equity, that's what you're doing when you do actually purchase a home. And there's a lot of misnomers out there. You do not have to have 20% down. You can purchase a home with 3%, 3.5%. We actually have some down payment assistance programs and USDA loans, depending on the area, if it's in the country somewhere. So it just depends. So there's a lot of different programs out there to help people buy homes. even now, even with the COVID. So a lot of them have changed, but we're very busy with a lot of first-time home buyers because they're realizing they keep seeing their rent increase. And,
exactly.
And they're not seeing if their long-term goal is to actually build wealth, pay off your debt, all those type things, then one way to build wealth is in real estate. They're predicting 3.9% equity appreciation,
right.
In the next year. So, that's not unusual. That's actually probably low for the Tampa Bay area, but that's what they're projecting. So,
not only that, not to interrupt you, Diane, but you're also getting twice the space. I have friends, they're paying $1,400 for a 900 square foot apartment, and then you go into a house double the size for the same payment or a lower payment. So you're also getting double the space. You're getting more land, and like you said, you stay in that house for 3 to 5 years. It's way better than being in the stock market. I mean, it's going to appreciate, especially here in Florida.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's a lot. Even those folks that come down and rent for the winter, honestly, they should buy a second home. And maybe rent it out during the summer to people or something like that. But they should actually purchase because, again, it's about building wealth. So, building wealth and not throwing your money away and giving it to somebody else. Although when we talk about the investor side, and they like the renters.
yeah, exactly. There's always a catch-22. The moratorium by the governor. Governor DeSantis saying, hey, you can't, now that moratorium's another 30 days. Landlords are upset. They're not happy. But on the flip side, can you really kick people out during a pandemic? It's always a balance when you look at it. I wanted to mention one thing also when we talk about a rent versus own, and we're going to make a free offer here in just a moment. But Diane, can you elaborate also, because down payment, you mentioned what the down payment requirements were, but as a realtor, I'm a certified negotiation expert. We want to help the clients understand that they can get in with the least amount of money out of pocket. And a rent versus own, we're going to offer that in a moment. But seller concessions. Can you explain how seller concessions really help people in these situations with less money in the bank? They're going to be able to utilize and lean on their realtor to help them.
Absolutely. It's very important to have a realtor that really, and I always send to one of your agents when I get that situation, Brandon, by the way, because some people only have so much money to spend and they don't have the means to get extra money for closing costs. Right. Closing costs are anywhere from, $5,200 to $5,500, and you have your homeowner's insurance. You might have $7,000. Well, the seller can actually come in and pay that towards closing costs. And if you have a strong realtor negotiating for you, you can actually get that taken care of. So you can actually have different, depending on if it's a conventional loan or an FHA loan, you can have so much, and depending on the loan amount, you can, on a conventional loan, a seller can actually contribute 3%. Unless they're putting 10% down and then they do 6%. Under FHA, they can do 6% period. So, so it's, you're never going to, depending on the loan amount, it should cover it.
Right. And it's going to help you increase your, positional. If you look at offering the full amount of the offer, depending on where you're at, especially, Palm Harbor, Tarpon Springs, Dunedin, certain areas are very competitive. And I was surprised that Lindsay just put another property under contract yesterday at a $1.3 million. And it was a $1.5 million property. I believe that was on the market for a little bit of time, an extended period of time. But I was surprised there was 3 offers on it, I believe. There was multiple offer situations. So if your realtor's not negotiating properly for you, and there's some things we do in terms of, writing letters and escalation clauses and the addendums, there's some things you can do to win those bidding type situations. Seller concessions, going back to seller concessions, how they work is, let's just say it's a $100,000 home and you offer the full amount, plus you say, hey, give us 3% seller concession. So you might go at $103,000. We're going to ask for 3% seller concessions. The seller says, hey, I'm getting the same thing. Now, the only caveat there is, will it appraise for that number? And in this appreciating market, a lot of times it will. Got to double check the values with Ray Hall appraisals. Sometimes the for sale by owners are overpriced. We've talked about that. But let's offer that rent versus own, 813-670-7372. All you have to do is text the word rent and the amount of rent that you're paying, 813-670-7372. You can call that line, leave a voicemail, and we're not going to put you on air. It's an off-air number. Rent versus own analysis to the first 3 listeners who text in, 813-670-7372. 7372. And Diane, Vance, we got about half a minute left. Parting words of wisdom.
I would just tell people that whatever their goals and their plan is, I'm big on planning for the future. So, whatever their goals are or their plans are, either call into the show or give me a call, and I'll be more than happy to go over lots of things with them.
Awesome. All right. Good stuff. Thanks so much, Diane. We appreciate you. And coming up, Manny Febre in studio. We're going to talk about a lot of things happening in the market side, real estate side, marketing side here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. NFL quarterback Trubisky sends heartfelt letter and jersey to grieving family. We'll be right back.
Hey, I'm Ken Shamrock, and you're here with Consumer Quarterback Show. And I say, Brandon Rhymes, knock out your competition.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com. You're listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, online at consumerqb.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-670-7372.
And we're back. Brandon Rhymes here, Consumer Quarterback Show, powered by the Platinum MVP team, Keller Williams Realty. Big shout out to the Golf Cart Depot, one of our expert contributors and show partners for the Consumer Quarterback Show, the Golf Cart Depot. They will deliver. So how cool is that? They will take a test drive directly to your home or office, and they can test drive one of the Easy Goes, Star EV, the Cushman. They got the Icon electric vehicles, and they also have pre-owned and remanufactured property golf carts available. So reach out to Golf Cart Depot. Let them know the real estate quarterback sent you. Take them up on special offers and incentives just by mentioning that you're a fan of the Consumer Quarterback Show, the Golf Cart Depot right here in Tampa Bay. They've got the beautiful Easy Go. We've got our Keller Williams red, beautiful golf cart, and they are fun. Have a lot of fun with them, personal or commercial use with the Golf Cart Depot. Talk to them, let them know. Say hello to Marty and his team. Let them know the real estate quarterback sent you. All right, we got Manny Febre in studio, Febre Frameworks in the house. And what I thought we might do to start off is just go ahead and show a couple of our listings. Like, for example, KETCH Court. This is a property that we had photographed by Febre Frameworks, and it really helps us get these beautiful aerial drone photography. Check that out.
Yeah, absolutely, Brandon. And, one thing that a lot of people may not know that, having the drone certification is still fairly new. It used to be a 3,300 exemption, and they used to cost over $3,000 just to get your drone license. So really, a lot of real estate wasn't really photographed aerially until like 2016. So in August of 2016, they came out with the Part 107. That was $150 and actually gave a lot of people opportunities to get their drone license. And then actually real estate evolved a tremendous amount with these waterfront properties that now you get beautiful scenic pictures that really sell the properties a lot faster. From the ground, you can get, you can definitely get the water view, but from the aerial perspective, I mean, it's just a whole nother game.
Yeah, absolutely. Like this one, you got the view of the open water, the Gulf of Mexico, and then on the right-hand side, you can see in the background the mouth of the river. That's the Anclote River, I believe, and then you can see the power plant back there, so you can kind of see what the surroundings look like.
Because before you used to just be able to see the water, which is great. You could see the open water, but now if you got boaters that want to know, hey, let me see what the surrounding area is, what kind of fishing is there. They're obviously looking for mangroves because you're going to catch some good snapper. So this is a great technique, and I know it's definitely been helping out the real estate industry a tremendous amount.
Let's look at 12208 Four Oaks Road. Here's another property in Tampa. So that was a residential lot available to be built on. This is a commercial property. This is a great opportunity. 5 acres, corner lot right there at Four Oaks, Nixon Road, and it's close to Dale Mabry. So you're talking Carrollwood area, Forest Lakes, 12208 Four Oaks Road. It does have a single-family home on it. But if you look at that first picture right there, see that you've got the markings. So that was something that we asked your office. Can you identify some of the businesses in the area and put their logo on that picture? And it looks pretty cool because now the buyer, the potential developer, can say, oh wow, down the road there's a Bank of America, there's a Walgreens, there's a Publix.
Yeah, and honestly, for the vacant homes with these outlines that we put on here, I mean, think about it. Before, the picture used to be just a front of a bunch of trees. I mean, what are you gathering from that exactly without visiting it? Right. Here on the internet now, you can actually take a look at it, and like you said, where the parcel sits, what you got as far as property, and then you also have the whereabouts of where it is. Before, there was no whereabouts. It was pretty much, let's go take a look at it, see what's around. Now you can kind of have like a preliminary view of what's around the area, like you said. I mean, there could be, a Publix, a Bank of America, something that really makes it stand out. But that's a great property right there in a really up and coming area, no doubt.
Yeah, absolutely. We have an engaged buyer right now too, so that's always nice because that one's priced at $1.8 million.
For a commercial property, like you said, I mean, it's in that intersection, really popular. I mean, that could be a gas station. I mean, multiple things.
Yep. You got to check the zoning on it. That's what we always say. So we got Manny Febre in studio here, Febre Frameworks. Now, your brother Sean and you started that business. You guys are he's kind of jumped out into another business now with pressure washing, which is kind of go hand in hand.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, now you think about it. I mean, you really want the house to, present as best as you can. And what better way than to get the exterior pressure washed, get your driveway pressure washed, really make those pictures sparkle. I mean, everybody likes to see a beautifully clean house, and that's the best way to market it. So it is becoming it's almost becoming like where you paint, you need a pressure washer, then they got to come in and paint. So we're trying to come up with steps to continue to help sellers or realtors sell their house, beautify it to sell it. So, like the declutter, I mean, declutter is almost coming like its own little job. I mean, now a lot of, realtors are asking us, hey, do you mind coming in beforehand? Right. And let's see how we can declutter this for pictures. And, obviously you guys are experts at getting it ready for open houses and showing. So we're coming in, just adding those little touches that, really go a long ways.
Well, that's what I take great pride in as well, as being a turnkey solution, not only for our radio and TV show family, but also our clients. So for example, yesterday I was going through a FaceTime call with the moving company, identifying the different furniture, what's going to be moved. I also called up one of our organizing options company, Jennifer, with Home Organizing Options. So I was showing her the same stuff. She said, okay, great. Yeah, this would possibly sell. I can take pictures. I can post this on online, Facebook Marketplace, etc. Try to help her sell. And then I also called my handyman.
Yeah.
So I went to went to my handyman and did another FaceTime. Hey, here's a little repair item. Here's something we want to change, this doorknob. We want to this flooring. We might want to put some tile over here. So turnkey solution. People don't realize what all realtors do. And I know in a lot of cases.
And I know with you, Brandon, that you always try to use some of the existing furniture to stage it. To cut cost here and there. I mean, obviously, if a house needs to be staged, but you're really good at using the existing furniture and staging it well. So when we get in there, we're ready to take photos, and not every realtor does that. So that's what separates you from everybody else.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that. And Manny, while we're on the topic of staging, you guys have this technology now where you can virtually stage the property, staging the photos.
That's exactly right, Brandon. Because, a lot of people have a lack of imagination. So it's really tough for them to actually walk into a vacant home and be like, okay, well, I can imagine my TV here. But what we do, since 95% of people search for listings on the internet, with photos. So we put in, virtually staged photos with great furniture to give them an idea of how they could lay out their furniture, to give them some kind of imagination of not just a blank canvas. So that's something that's been helping a lot of people when a lot of realtors, when they have some listings that have been on the market for a while, and they're trying to figure out how can I add a little bit of, oomph to this listing, and the virtual staging has gone a long way.
Yeah. And our producer's putting the pictures up here on the left side. Okay. It's just a floor. Yeah. You can see the paint on the walls. You see the stairwell. And then on the right-hand side, you had some beautiful pictures there. So it's awesome.
And not only that, any day it rains, or if you got a cloudy day, you can also, we do virtual twilights. So, I mean, pretty much, it's exactly like if you were going out there at 8:30 trying to catch the perfect sky. We know it's tough in Florida to catch the perfect sky because it's raining a lot. So instead of catching a perfect sky, we'll put the perfect sky in there for you.
There you go. Nice. Oh, perfect. Yeah. Because that first impression is so key. It's not only like dating, is, if you look back to when you're dating, and stuff like that, that first impression, but also with real estate, man, people, when they see that first picture, that first presentation of the property, it really means a lot.
Yeah. And I've been trying to push a lot more realtors to use the virtual twilight, because I feel like when you're looking at so many listings, the blue sky is great. We always love to see the blue sky, but if we can see a colorful sky, all of a sudden, that makes you want to click the first photo and then look a little bit through the house. So the virtual twilights have really been popping out, and we've been trying to push it more. I mean, it's really only I think we charge $15 or $20 for a photo. And then if we have like a day where it's like really cloudy, we can obviously just change that cloudy sky to a blue sky, and that's only $10 a photo. So you're talking about solutions here where we're trying to solve problems so that we always have the best presentation for your realtors.
Cool. All right, we're going to take a quick break here, but when we come back, I want to go a little bit outside into a scope of back to the real estate market, investment opportunity, Airbnb, and then also success. You guys have owned your company, you're growing it, entrepreneurship, a little bit about success strategies here. Manny Febre in studio, plus our feel-good story of the day. Football is a family, and if you look at the NFL quarterback Trubisky, he sent a heartfelt letter to a grieving family, and that's relating to a interesting feel-good story of the day here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. We'll be right back after this break.
This is Chris Voss, former FBI lead hostage negotiator and owner of the Black Swan Group, and you're listening to Consumer Quarterback Show, hosted by my friend Brandon Rhymes.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com. You're listening to the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
All right. I want to take just a quick minute and remember everyone deployed, everyone out there that's serving this country, the veterans, everyone that has, sacrificed for this country, the police, the sheriff department, my cousin's sheriff down in Hendrick County, down in South Florida. Let's help them out. Let's do whatever we can do to back the blue. And the veterans, we offer discounts for real estate transactions. Any veteran, first responders, nurses, teachers, we offer a lot of different discounts. We want to try to help them as best we can. So just a quick shout out to our veterans there. And by the way, we had a great lunch over there. So a couple of the executives here at Salem had lunch over at Mission Barbecue, and they had some really cool pictures throughout that place. Restaurant right there over by the Veterans Expressway over by Anderson Road, I believe it is. So shout out to our veterans. Quick shout out to Replenish IV Solutions as well, one of the longtime friends of the program here. Replenish IV Solutions, they offer these vitamin infusion drips directly into your bloodstream. So if you're looking to boost your immunity, they have the Myers cocktail. They are mobile as well. They'll come to your home or office. Vitamins, minerals, electrolytes directly injected into your bloodstream. The science of nutritional balance. Say hello to our friends Stephen and Lisa Gunnan at Replenish IV Solutions. Let them know the real estate quarterback sent you. All right, a couple of hot properties here. 4214 Peaceful Lane in Land O'Lakes. This is a development opportunity. Attention builders, developers, entrepreneurs, anyone out there driving around listening to our show, reach into your phone. Who do you know that might want to take an opportunity here and seize the opportunity? And 4214 Peaceful Lane in Land O'Lakes, you've got beautiful lakefront, 91-acre ski lake. Great opportunity. The entitlements are already in place. That's a development term, meaning that everything's signed off on and approved. 8 lots, 5 of which are directly on the waterfront. Great buying opportunity. This property is listed at just over $1 million. Check out all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com. That's platinummvpteam.kw.com. And today for our feel-good story. Tell me something good. All right, we got the NFL quarterback Trubisky. That's the Chicago Bears quarterback. He's being praised for his act of kindness for a family who lost their son in a car accident. Jack Roche was a former Kansas football equipment manager who was killed in a car accident at just 21 years old. What a heartbreaking age to pass away. Roche lived in Chicago, was a big Bears fan, Trubisky fan, upcoming. Upon hearing the news, Trubisky sent Roche family a letter with a signed jersey. Quote, "I am very sorry for your family's loss. My deepest sympathies go out to you and your family. I got word that Jack was a huge Bears fan and also a fan of mine. I can't tell you what that means to me. I wanted to gift the family with a signed jersey of mine in honor of Jack. Your family was in my prayers, and I pray your family's peace and strength through these tough times. God bless you guys. And again, my heart goes out to you and your family." So, yeah, football is like a family. And when you lose an equipment manager, coach, anybody, player, a lot of sports organizations like that in general, it's just a tough loss. But that's cool for the quarterback to do that.
Gestures like that go a long way, and they have no idea at the end of the day, but it goes a long way for just a family like that who right. It is. I mean, even the fans, we're part of a family. When like the Tampa Bay Bucks, I love the Tampa Bay Bucks. I want to see them do well, so you never want to see anything like that happen. But that's great by Mitch to do something like that for the family.
It really is. A lot of times you hear that phrase, journalism is dead, because and I think in a certain sense it's not to be taken, at its true legitimate word. What it is though, I love those Sports Center documentaries about the athlete that helps out the kid, or the kid that has, the cancer, and they come and see him. Those types of journalistic stories. And then of course, on a bigger level, when it's dealing with world leaders and things of that nature, journalism is not dead, but in some cases it really upsets people the way that they slant certain things, certain media.
And what I think it is, you're touching on a great point there, Brandon. It seems like it's not so much the positive anymore. It's more about the negative.
That's true.
And we want to see more of the positive because, when you wake up in the morning, I would rather hear something positive than negative. And that's what kind of, takes me from watching the news so much. And I'm more into, let's watch the business channel to find out about the money.
Yeah,
but it would be great, it would be great to have more journalism towards positivity because that's what we need in our life, especially with everything going on. So hopefully, we can get a switch there and hear some more positive stuff like that.
Yeah,
It
absolutely.
goes a long way.
So that's Manny Febre here in studio, Febre Frameworks, and let's stick with that money side, that business side, investment opportunities. Yeah. What are you seeing out there in terms of investment?
Well, honestly, Brandon, I with Diane, what she was talking about with buying real estate. I mean, buying real estate is a great way to get appreciation, and a lot of people forget when you start buying these investment properties. Back in the day, let's just say vacation rentals weren't the most popular. They weren't as popular as they are today because of the technology that we have with Airbnb and VRBO. So you're thinking about it on a daily basis. If you rent out one of these investment properties for $80 a month, okay, for 25 days, let's just say we give you a 5-day,
$80 a day.
Yeah, $80 a day.
Yep.
Do it for 25 days. Your cost, $120 times 12 months. You're looking at $36,000.
Yeah.
Now let's put it like this: a lease is the old-fashioned way of how you used to, regain your
long term.
Yeah, long term. So you're talking about $1,000 a month.
Yep.
Times 12.
Yep.
$12,000.
Yeah.
Now you got to be hustling, but you're going to make more money on the Airbnb and the VRBO.
Yeah, you're going to turn them over. You're going to have that type of thing. And if you have a lakefront property, waterfront, you can have, we'll leave a stand-up paddleboard out there. That way people can travel. They can ride the bikes. Yeah. But it's such a big decision too. I've even seen people leasing properties on the long term from the old school leaser.
Yeah.
So they'll lease it. And then what they'll do is they will turn around and Airbnb it inside of that lease.
Well, that's a great idea.
So there's people doing that. There's all kind of people are investing. I talked to some folks that were, talked to a lot of different people when it comes to listing their property, talking about how they're doing in their business. But that's an interesting strategy, isn't it?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And that's where I feel like creativity and you putting in a little bit more effort it's not easy to go ahead and, try to book it out, 25 days out of the month. You really got to be pushing advertisements or, really getting the professional photography because that's one big thing that I've noticed on Airbnb and VRBO is like the photography could be so much better. If you put a video, you spend a one-time fee, let's just say $400 or $500.
Yep.
You keep that content for a long period of time where you never have to invest into it again. And you have a great presentation. It's all about presentations. Buyers spend 80% of their time looking at the photos and only a mere 20% looking at the actual descriptions. So what are you going to do? You're going to put the content or are you going to just make a, fluffy little description? You're going to put the content on there because we're in 2020 where the internet and technology is what takes over for people to look at stuff.
That's right. We got Manny Febre in studio. I'm your host, Brandon Rhymes. And when you look at that, Manny, you think about the investment side of real estate, as we alluded to earlier. If you want a conventional loan or FHA, if you want to buy that owner-occupied property, sometimes you might want to think about, hey, let's go ahead and bite the bullet. I know it's not the best thing in some people's minds to live next to a tenant and live next to somebody that you're personally, So if I own the duplex or the triplex or the quad, I've got 3 or 4 units there, 2 or 3 units I can rent out. So now you're Airbnb in one, you got a couple long-term tenants, you're building wealth, you're living in there as well. And then at some point you go and move on and buy your next house. You move your move-upper house.
Yeah, exactly.
Mover-upper house.
Yeah, mover-upper on the water, Yeah, so, really, and correct me if I'm wrong, but, with these investments, you can create an LLC holding company and put them under there to reduce liability. And at the same time, it's not so personalized because, it's always tough when one of your tenants comes up to you and goes, hey, I can't pay the $1,000. But it's a lot easier if you have a actual company because you can hire, a property manager, a realtor, whatever it is, and have them communicate so you can gather that rent because they're less likely to give them a sob story than if it's a person on person kind of, investment.
And that is the strategy. We've got lots of attorneys associated with the show, great attorneys. If anybody out there needs an introduction, that's what the show's all about. 813-670-7372. Call or text that line. Any introductions you need, 813-670-7372. 73, 72. Of course, real estate credit finance, estate and tax planning, all types of different attorneys. But yeah, whenever that's the strategy, when you have an investment property, most people believe that it's better to do it in an LLC, a different entity.
Yeah.
That way you don't get sued personally if somebody
Exactly.
slips and falls, etc.
Yeah.
There's an issue at the property, and that's where Murphy's Law comes into play sometimes, right?
Yeah.
You find that happening there. So great opportunities for investment that's there now. We have a low inventory market. That's why I keep talking about some of these real estate vacant land opportunities that I have for investors out there, developers. It's such a great time to do that. And I've got meetings set up. I'm exploring that more and more. I know we've even talked about some development opportunity, but I just see that so many people are moving here to beautiful sunny South Florida. So many advantages that we have here.
Yeah, and the other thing is I you know what I think, Brandon, when it comes to these vacant lands, I think it's harder than what they think. But with the network that you have with these vacant lands, it's very possible to create your dream home instead of having a floor plan that you have to acquire. So, I mean, there's a lot of advantages to buying a vacant lot and personalizing it to your liking. And it's not as hard as people think. I mean, it's a process that could be done just like buying a house.
Yeah,
but
it's not the instant gratification that we talked about earlier either, where people get into debt so much as well. So that instant gratification, that drives people a lot as well. They're keeping up with the Joneses.
Yeah, and you're right. Because, I mean, Warren Buffett says, a lot of people want to get rich fast. You have to get rich slow. The problem is there's no patience now. Yeah. And I think that's what happens with a lot of plans. Like, a lot of people, they want to have financial goals. But now they get sucked into, well, you know what? Let me go ahead and buy this boat. Let me go ahead and buy this new car. And now your financial plan has been dismantled and you're back to being keeping up with the Joneses.
Or a fancy watch is one of the worst too.
I know, fancy watches. I mean, a Rolex for 10 grand. I mean, do you really have to tell everybody, hey, look, I'm rich?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I wear an iWatch because I get to keep track of my calories and all that kind of stuff. And I haven't changed from that watch, and it's very convenient. I like to exercise and stuff like that. Yeah. Might not be able to tell.
I've got a Movado from 20 years ago. Yeah. Well, that's the idea, man. Just focus on what you're looking to do. Have those financial goals, have those fitness goals, and it's over time. That's where people don't realize it. It's an overtime process. Exactly. When we built our house, it took a couple of years to get to the point where we could finally move in.
But the end point was beautiful because at the end of the day, you got what you wanted. And now you're in. It's a sacrifice for a period of time.
That's right.
But the house is personalized to your liking, to your comfort. So that's what, buying a vacant land and building your own dream is about.
That's right. Always a pleasure, Manny. FebreFrameworks.com. Check them out online. FebreFrameworks.com. FEBRE Frameworks.com. And, of course, Consumer Quarterback Show, ConsumerQB.com. Anything you need out there, we'd love to help you. My wife, Lindsay, and I own and operate our team, Platinum MVP Team, Keller Williams Realty. And we want you to please go out there and consider committing a random act of kindness, do something kind for one another, and be a force for good in the community. We'll see you next time right here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, ConsumerQB.com.
You've been listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes. Whether it's real estate, consumer, or financial advice, let Brandon call your next play. Contact Brandon Rhymes at 813-670-7372. That's 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com. And join us next time